Alright, welcome back guys. Today we are covering the two biggest knights in the codex / index until we get a proper codex. We are looking at the Acastus chassis, which is the biggest Imperial Knight chassis by far. You've got the Porphyrion and the Asterius. One's more of an Imperial Knight, like Imperium design. One's more of an Imperial Knight that's a Mechanicus design. You can tell by the armor trim and the kind of cog theme going on. Both of them are massive T13 chassis, 8-inch move, 2-up save in the open, 5-up invuln for range only, and a fat health pool of 30 wounds. Good luck getting through it. Pretty decent leadership at 6+, OC is 10. They are massively high costed models at 710 and 765 points respectively for the two of them here. You are not playing in a normal 2000 point game if you want to win. They're kind of a throwaway, I feel. I do like playing with mine personally. They do offer a different play style for your opponents to deal with, and we'll cover that later on. So looking at the Porphyrion, which is actually my personal favourite, they've got Deadly Demise 2d6, so they're a pretty big boom when they go off. Standard rules, you've got your codes, you get your rerolls, you get your Fiona Pain right now because they've only got the one detachment. Super heavy, so they can walk through buildings, they can walk over things, all that standard stuff. His main rule is Bastion of Firepower. Each time this model remains stationary, he gains lethal hits on all his range. Kind of a bit of a nombo combo going on, which we'll look at when we look at his main guns. So his main gun is the Twin Magma Las Cannon. It's an absolute mouthful. Has blast and twin linked, 72-inch range, which is insane to think about. There's two of these by the way, you've got one on each arm, so you can split fire. Each of them has d6 for number of attacks, hitting on 3, strength 18, AP 4, and the damage is d6 plus 6, so minimum 7 damage into a target per wound they get through. Really, really high strength, which is going to wound everything, even a Warlord Titan on a 3, God help you fighting Warlord Titans. Has Twin Link too, so any failed wound you're going to need to reroll. And again, if you didn't move, you get lethal hits. So you are pretty much going to get the wound through. The lethal hits doesn't feel like it's absolutely necessary because you need to move to be able to find targets. With his range, and I find this will show in an actual diagram, 72-inch range on a normal board size, which is about 60 inches, you can see your opponent's entire deployment, and you'll punish them for bad deployment. You can kill anything they leave well in the open. The problem is though, your opponent's going to hide from it, and you need to be able to move to get that line of sight to kill what you want to get. So you're not going to get lethal hits because you moved. Bit of a nombo combo, but the Twin Link makes up for it totally fine. Blast is a bit of a hindrance though, because if anything's at your feet, you can't shoot at your feet. Though shoot out of combat into another target, you'll be fine. You've also got two options for your hardpoint defense and your roof mounted weaponry. For the roof, it's a missile rack you can pick to have the Helios defense missiles, which is anti-fly and heavy. You get 3 shots at a 48-inch range, hitting on 3s, strength 10, AP 2, and each of them does d6 damage. I actually pick this option a lot more because we're kind of a anti-tank platform. We want to destroy everything we can, so we want high strength, high AP, and hard hitting damage. The other option is a Iron Storm missile pod. You can pick this when you deploy when you pick your army roster, of course. This is the anti-infantry option. It's 48-inch range, same option. D6 plus 6 for number of hits. Blast, heavy, and indirect. It says it hits on 3s, but then you're rolling with indirect, says it'll be 4s no matter what. Strength 5, no AP, 1 damage. It's purely for killing chaff with bad saves like orcs and bugs. Space Marines, not going to do too great into. For your hardpoint weapons on the chest, you can have a las cannon, an auto cannon, you can have 2 of each, you can have 1 of each, you can have any configuration, but you've got 2 options there. Las cannon, it's 1 shot, hitting on 3, strength 12, AP 3, d6 plus 1. It's a hard hitting, long range, 1 shot weapon. Or you can have the auto cannon, which is like what's on the armages, but you only get half the number of shots. So each of them is 2 attacks, hitting on 3, strength 9, AP 1, flat 3. AP is too low, covers ever in the game. The damage is nice, but your opponent's going to have a cover save, so basically no AP. So when I play my Porphyrion, I'm of course picking the Helios defense system on the roof for that anti-fly, just high strength and good damage, and the 2 las cannons. That way I know my model has got minimum 48-inch range across the entire board. You've also got actually okay melee for what it is, but you'd hope so too because it's so big. Titanic feet, 6 attacks, hitting on 4s, not 3s. Strength 10, AP 1, 2 damage. It can kill Space Marines at its feet pretty well. Orcs get winded on 2, so it can help kind of step on things. Looking at a normal board size, 60-inch long by 44 for a normal 2,000 point-ish game. I personally play on bigger boards with my playgroup because they're playing in like the 3,000 point era. There's the range of the 72-inch gun for perspective. You can see everything from the back of the board. Doesn't matter what, if your opponent is visible, you can shoot it and just kill it. The damage on that thing is high. Then the 48-inch range on the las cannon and the roof is pretty good. You can see most of the board. If you moved up onto the deployment line, you would see everything. Okay, his other brother, the Asterius. Same rules, same explosion. The only difference is his actual rule is called Sundering Fortress. It's like half a rule. It's so weird. Each time this model makes a ranged attack that targets a vehicle only, not a vehicle monster, kind of odd. Improve the strength and the damage by 1. If it attacks the fortification, improve it by 2. If you're playing into fortification, your opponent's just dumb as you for bringing their thing, really. Look, the strength and damage is nice, you will never say no, but it doesn't really get many breakpoints to help get more damage through. His weapon loadout's a bit more fixed. You don't get any other options, the guns are what they are, you don't get to change anything out. His main gun, you've got 2 of these again so you can split fire, is the twin conversion beam cannon. Has twin linked, conversion, and sustain hits D3. Conversion is like reverse melter. If you're 12 inches or further away, you're going to crit on a 4 instead of a normal 6. So when you crit your hit, you get D3 extra shots into the pool. So each gun has 3 attacks at 48-inch range, hitting on 3, strength 16, AP 2, flat 6 damage. But remember, if you hit on a 4, you get an extra D3 per 4 you rolled. It does mean the Asterius has a lot more consistent shooting than his other brother. You could say each gun's probably going to get you 6 shots off, hopefully, with your sustained, roughly. You've got a roof weapon as well, but only one option, and it's the mortar battery, which is anti-infantry 2+, blast, ignores cover and indirect. A couple extra shots at D6 plus 3, so again more consistent. Same range at 48, hitting on 3s, but because of the ruling with indirect, unless you can see it, you're going to be hitting on 4s. Strength 6, AP 1, 1 damage. Way better at killing infantry because it's got that little bit of AP that ignores cover, they can't save it. The whole idea of the ignoring cover here is it's a radiation-based weapon, you know, Mechanicus and not really caring about war crimes. You've also got a Volkite Culverin, which is like your hardpoint weapons on these guys. A lot shorter range at 24. Good number of attacks in them, 6 attacks per gun, you got 2 of them as well. Strength 6, no AP, 2 damage. Dev wounds, that's why you've got no AP, so you're hoping to get the dev wounds just to insta-kill at 2 damage. Not having AP makes that rough, and the exact same Titanic feat. When you look at his range on the board, for his main guns, if you push up onto a normal board size, push up into that deployment line, you could see your opponent's deployment pretty well, punish any bad out-of-place deployment, and try and insta-kill it. The damage is really high on this guy as well. The shorter range on the support weaponry definitely shows 24 inches isn't that great. Because these guys are the Forge World variants, there's not many stratagems that really help them out. Tank Shock is pretty good now because Tank Shock goes off your vehicle's chassis toughness now, not your melee weapon strength, and we're a T13, so if you had an enemy horde coming at you, you could get a decent charge off and try and flatten a few of them with Tank Shock, and you've got a few melee attacks in there, so you might actually wipe out some weenies on its own. Trophy Claim, you pick a monster or vehicle and you get to add 1 to the wound roll, but you got to make sure you kill it, otherwise you'll lock yourself out of Trophy Claim. Unless you really need to wound a target on a 2, it could be an option. Command reroll. Our main attacks on main guns are so hard hitting, they're worth the reroll, absolutely. Shoulder the Burden. Yeah, +1 to hit, basically, that's the only reason why you're doing it. Maybe for the improved leadership if you're seeing nids that are trying to like battle shock the shit out of you. Or like if you're trying to fight on the point and you need to get that bit OC, get up to 11, you might beat a certain size squad of Marines or something. It's basically for the +1 to hit, that's why you're running Shoulder the Burden. But you have to have lost a wound. And then rotate Iron Shields, that's your other option, which you can do a lot if people try and take it down. So with both of them, they're so big and so menacing, they definitely have like a mental impact on your opponent, I've found. Most people want to ignore them. They find it like a scary game of death, hide and seek. If they misplay, they're not properly hidden, they know they'll get punished and that model will be dead. Especially with like the shooting Porphyrion has, you can't hide from it, the AP is really high. Sometimes unless you have an invuln, you are just taking the damage and you know each wound they get through is minimum 7 damage. You are just going dead. And with Porphyrion, I like him with vehicles a lot. I know the Asterius has the actual vehicle rule to help it get there, but with Porphyrion's longer range, the higher AP, any vehicle out of cover, its tread sticking out, you can kill it. Same rule with Asterius, it's just more consistent shooting. I feel Asterius is better into a generalist army with a couple of vehicles, good number of infantry and troops and stuff like that, where the Porphyrion does better if you're versing a lot of hard targets, which in 10th edition, there are a lot of hard targets, a lot of vehicles running around, stuff like that. In my playgroup, we've got a lot of heavy orc vehicles, we've got a guy that runs a Stomper, God bless him. So I like Porphyrion because I know I can shoot a lot of hard targets and kill him. At the end of the day, I'm still going to say the Porphyrion's the better option. 710 points versus 765, he's cheaper, and even if his shooting isn't as consistent because it's D6 per gun, even if you only get like 2 hits through, it's going to instantly kill whatever you're shooting at, unless your opponent's running things just as big at like T13. I just feel that's a bit better, and the range too. When you play on bigger boards, you can see everything. But look, both are great models to build. They're great painting jobs. They are not practical at all for a 2,000 point game. But I'm gonna have to give my personal preference, and I think the Porphyrion is a better option. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I'm locking it in. Porphyrion is definitely the way to go. Alright, if you guys play these guys, let me know. I have both of them. I'm an idiot for having both of them, but they're great fun models. If you've ever played with them, let me know, or if you're thinking about getting them. Good luck building them, by the way, though. Alright, thanks guys, and have a good one. Ta-ta.